Hello and welcome to Functional Fridays. This is our live interview that we're doing. We're pulling in usually functional medicine doctors. It doesn't mean that is going to be the exclusivity, but right now there are a lot of topics that we're wanting to cover, and I'm pulling in those experts to talk specifically about it. Today's topic is all about keto, the pros, the cons, and the misunderstandings or misconceptions around it. I know I have my own personal questions with it. But I thought out, and Emily Hecker was one that everybody repeatedly said, reach out to Emily, reach out to Emily, reach out to Emily. So we apologize. This interview was supposed to happen last Friday. Some technical difficulties happened, and now we're using a new platform, as you can see. We're probably still having some difficulties, but we're learning along the way. But welcome, Emily. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for having me. I'm pumped.
Good. So introduce yourself briefly. Tell everybody a little bit more about who you are and what you do and kind of your target focus.
Yeah. So I'm a chiropractic physician trained at Logan College right here in St. Louis. And I specialize in functional medicine. And I've been doing this for over 10 years, and I love it because it finds the root cause of illness. And so a few of the things that I really love to help people with and coach them through is keto. I've been fascinated with ketogenic diet through my own experimentation 4 years ago and digging into the science behind just a lot of people who need to refine their health. So just functional medicine in general, getting them to the root cause of illness and finding solutions through diet, supplementation, lifestyle changes. That's what I do.
We have the specialty menus specific to all of these diets here in the shop. And keto was one of them, that is one of the newer ones. We were kind of like, okay, in my understanding with it, when people started coming in and going keto, I was like, isn't it self-explanatory on this menu? If you know what keto is, what it is that you can and cannot have. But there are some misconceptions out there and misunderstandings. And one of the questions I have, can you kind of do keto? Or do you have to be 100% committed to keto to be doing keto?
Yeah, that's a great question. And, you can kind of go, really, if you look at keto, it's a low sugar diet. That's how I tell my patients when I'm working with them. If you're going to explain what you're doing, you're just reducing sugar. And that's what carbs are. So it's lower carbs. Can you do a keto light, per se? You know what? If you're trying to hit those macros all the way, if you're trying to really get in a good ketosis means you're burning fat for fuel. You're burning fat. It's just a different type of energy source that your body's utilizing. Some people can get into kind of a ketosis and cycle in and out of it. Some people need to hit it hardcore with those macros, and we're going to go into a little bit what macros mean in a little bit. But you kind of can do it a little bit, but if you want the true results of it, man, you got to hit it hardcore, and it can be just overwhelming for some people, maybe a little bit too much, but you can make it as easy as you can, especially when you get all the knowledge in there.
So I think if somebody's saying they're kind of doing keto, they're really doing low carb.
Probably, and you know what? If they're not tracking, because that's a big thing, you need to track your food. Because so many people think, oh, I'm doing keto, or I'm low carbing it. But really, if you look at what you're getting as far as carbohydrates, like especially coconut water is super high in carbohydrates. And that is kind of paleo type of healthy type of electrolyte type of drink. Lots of different foods can sneak in those carbs. So you got to track them to make sure you're not getting them. And you're being honest to yourself when you track too.
So why would somebody be choosing keto protocol versus anything else? What is the majority of your clients coming in, and why are you putting them on keto?
Yeah, that's a great question. You can use it for lots of different ways, which is why I like the science behind it. There's so much being pumped out in PubMed, all the journal articles about ketosis. What I typically work with people on keto is going to be mitochondrial support. So those are the little factories inside of your cells that pump out energy. And I see so many chronic people with autoimmune diseases that struggle with, vaccine reactions, all the different types of things that tax our body. I love to use keto for that, even just for weight loss. How many of us want to lose a little bit of weight, especially summer's coming up? We want to fit in those the swimsuits and those shorts, right? So just weight loss is a big component of it too. So you can kind of tweak it with each one. But I find it's fascinating because ketogenesis is, if you're going to be in keto, it's going to be more of a long-term type of lifestyle versus like Atkins. A lot of people get those two confused with Atkins.
That was one of my questions because I do believe, I mean, I remember some people that I worked with very extensively back when Atkins was huge, but they'd go through the drive-through at McDonald's and just take the bread off and still eat everything else. And it was like going, and now today you're in keto and people using Atkins as an example. I think that's a huge misconception.
Yeah, it is. You know, and way back when, keto kind of was built off of Atkins way back when, but it's evolved now. And keto was really built for people with seizures to get them under control, especially kids. But Atkins, you know, it has its benefits. People can do it, but a lot of times those people on Atkins, they're gaining that weight back. They're not looking at it as a long-term lifestyle. And even if you go look up Atkins, it's just an intermediary step for weight loss. You know, you start really low carbs, about 24 grams of carbohydrates, and then you gradually add them back in. And you you get back to your normal standard American higher carbohydrate diet. But keto is more long-term. You're living off of those fuels of ketones, for long-term. It's great for brain function. That's why fasting is so important too.
And we are going to have you back on. I think we've identified 2 more topics for us to dive into with you, which is the MTHFR and also the fasting. We're going to schedule those in the future to dive into those more specifically.
Right.
But with the keto, another question I have is sitting down and eating a whole pound of bacon. Is that keto, or where are the vegetables playing a component?
Right. That is so true. If you go and you talk to any one of your friends and you say, oh, I'm eating keto, I'm thinking about eating keto, most people think you're going to be eating sticks of butter and loads of bacon. And I mean, seriously, thumbs up for that, because how many people do you see that do that, you know? But really, you've got to take a look at it that you can get a ton of good fibrous vegetables in a ketogenic diet. And they're lower in carb. There's all tons of them. We need those leafy green foods for fiber. Fiber helps attach all your hormones to get the hormones through your body and eliminate them. You need folate, which is B9. You need all those good B vitamins that can come from those vegetable resources. So it's not just about bacon, folks. You know, it definitely, you want, how I tell people is when you're looking at your plate with keto, first of all, get a small salad plate. You don't need a huge hopping, wonkin' plate. That's served, but get a smaller plate and I would say like half of your plate should be filled with vegetables, the lower carb vegetables.
That's what our portions in here at SymBowl, oftentimes people think we offer, I mean, it's a lot of food in a bowl, but the reality is when you order your bowl correctly with lots of vegetables, you're still getting a balanced meal with everything in there. Around 4 ounces of cooked protein, up to 2 pounds or 1 pound, I got corrected, Greg sitting next to me, 1 pound of vegetables. And then whatever load that you can choose, a higher density carb, we get people who could care less what it is that they're eating and why we have the food on than in here. And then you've got rice, you can choose the zucchini. So yes, you can have a bowl that looks huge if you're ordering it through the garden of protein and then soup noodles, but it's almost all vegetables.
Yes, and that's so cute. People don't realize that you can still eat a ketogenic diet going to SymBowl. You have a menu, for goodness sakes, that's based in keto. It's vegetables, folks, and it's good sources of meat. You can do lean meats, but you want to get the fats in there. And
what we did add, we actually added onto our keto menu is bacon fat. Not that we're wanting you to put, but some of the feedback we were getting from people is that they were still struggling getting that extra fat to keep them into ketosis. So we added that. We have bacon in here. So we were like, okay, we'll save the bacon fat for other things. Why don't we just use this as well as an option? So another question I have is macros. You mentioned macros earlier, and you said tracking your food is important and understanding. How exactly are you tracking your food, and how do you figure out macros?
Yes, great question, because I just started doing this for the past few years with my patients, and I find that people are more successful when they track their food, especially initially, to get an idea of what you're eating, because what you've been doing is most likely not working. So we need to get some data on what you're doing. I like to use free things, right? So I like MyFitnessPal. That is a free app that you can get on your phone. You don't have a phone, you can get it and do it on your computer. And MyFitnessPal, you go in there, you just plop in the foods that you're getting. They have a barcode scanner that you can scan things at. And then you might have even loaded some of your meals on it too, with SymBowl. But you plop in what you're eating, and it tells you the types of food that you're eating, but it calculates your macros. Macros stands for macronutrients. And there's three main macronutrients that we look at with food. There's carbohydrates, there's protein, and there's fat. Those three things are the things that calculate calories. So when you think, okay, I'm going to count my calories, well, where are you getting those calories from? Are you eating 1,500 calories of cake and donuts? Are you eating 1,500 calories of awesome phytonutrient-rich, dense food, healthy food? So you got to see where are you getting those calories from, because that's where the keto part really is different from even just paleo. And that's why I start with my patients, because I work with so many autoimmune people that have issues with food. The food component is huge. There's so many foods out there that trigger inflammation in the body. Paleo, if you're not familiar with paleo, you're just removing a lot of those inflammatory foods, but you never talk about the quantity of food that you should eat in a paleo diet. It's never really talked about. It's just say, here, just eat these types of foods. And I personally had this experience I have 2 kids, and my oldest is 6, and after my 5 and 6, after my second one, man, I'm a human. I ate sugar to deal with them crying in the bed at night, and I gained weight. I'm human. So what did I do? I paid a ton of money and saw a personal trainer at the gym, and I ate paleo, and I lost 6 pounds, and that was it. And I was like pushing 200 pounds. I was up there. It didn't do it until I understood the quantity of food really needed to be addressed. And that's why I love keto, is because keto talks about the quantity of food you should be eating. And they think, when you eat keto, it's all fat, bacon. It's like, no, it's really about the quantity. You can have an anti-inflammatory keto diet, which is what you serve at your place. You don't have dairy, in a lot of your foods there. So you can reduce those grains. You can reduce the dairy. You can reduce even some of the things like the almond flours, nuts. People can have reactions to. You can still eat good, healthy, anti-inflammatory ways, but getting those macros in the right order is the key thing.
I think you hit on something. That's where paleo, what we find with so many of our customers coming in the door, is oftentimes they're starting with paleo for a specific reason, and then realizing that paleo isn't working for them in other arenas, and that's where they're seeking out a functional medicine doctor such as yourself to get more testing done, and that's where they're then finding out that they're autoimmune and they have to eliminate the nightshades, or what you were saying, it could come down to the keto component. I like always using the theory. So many vegans that I talk to are out there and they're eliminating the meat, but they're still eating all of this processed stuff. And you're going, where is the value that come in when it comes to a whole food ingredient?
Right.
Okay, so you touched on it briefly, and I want you to just touch on it a little bit more, and then we're going to continue it in an extensive interview. The MTHFR, what exactly is that, and why is keto key to have that?
Why is keto key? Say that again.
You have that gene. Like, why are you directing people onto a keto diet if they have that gene?
Yeah. So MTHFR, so it's a gene that, like I was saying, half of us have a defect in this gene, and it really deals with processing folate, which is a B9, which is a vitamin that we get from foliage. That's why they call it folate, because comes from foliage, the leafy greens. What happens is this whole methylation process. So you have this one gene that's in this complex part of chemical processing in your body called methylation. Methylation produces new DNA. It produces new cells. We have new gut every 7 days. That cells just automatically phagocytose and move on, and we build all of this. So when people come in with this genetic defect, with half of us have this, one of the things we need to do is we need to clean those genes up. So just because you're born with a gene that is not working correctly doesn't make you a mutant. It doesn't make you a freak that, you know what, I have to do things totally different. But what you do need to do is we need to clean and optimize the function of those genes. And this is where Dr. Ben Lynch, if you've heard of him or if you follow him, naturopathic doctor, just released a fantastic book called Dirty Genes. I highly recommend it. Talks about the 7 key genes that are really clinically relevant. So when we come into looking at this genetic defect, we need to clean those genes up. And one of the ways we do it is reduce our sugar load. We got to cut out the sugar, folks. There's just way too much sugar that we're consuming, like alcohol, that's one of them, or just foods that we sneak in that we don't realize. Stress eating, and so many different components to it really can impact how those genes are functioning. So that's why I like to bring in the ketogenic effect and start. And you can trickle your way into a keto diet. You don't have to just really go in there and start hardcore, depending on who you are.
I think your dog is he's needing more fats in his diet.
I did this before, and I just started talking, and she started barking. I'm like, Siri, do you have those dogs? And it's like, shh.
I know. Okay, so I just recently experienced, for the whole last month, I was on the SHAPE protocol.
Yeah.
Dr. Fresh, and I actually have him scheduled for an interview on June 22nd.
Right.
And we talked about SHAPE, and I went through it because for the last year, last summer got way off kilter. And then for a year, never got on track, and said, I have to clean some things up and I have to go really strict for a while. So I did SHAPE, which is putting you into ketosis, which got me into the whole mindset of, okay, so then I was looking at things, I was like really conscious of it. And I can tell you through experience, 1 week of eliminating all sugars, all gluten, any processed, pretty much anything out there, my mind was like a completely different mind. I've had more energy. I felt like I had my life back again. And it put me in a direction of, no, this is really where I want to do more of this because of how I feel. But yet at the same time, it was so strict. I was like, okay, now I'm struggling, functioning through life, and I want this to be a lifestyle for me. So how do I maneuver through it? And you mentioned alcohol a moment ago. I don't have a problem. Maybe to some I do. But I like having a cocktail every once in a while. I also like sipping on a cocktail. I'm one that can have tequila on ice with lime. I don't need sugars. I don't need all this other stuff. But what about alcohol and being on keto? Can it still work for you?
Yeah, that's great. Some people can tolerate a little bit of alcohol on keto. Some people can. Now, we got to think about the physiological function of the body. So your body, if you're in keto, you're burning fats for fuel. Your liver is a huge, fantastic organ that filters so much of the blood. And so one of the things that it's doing is it's converting the fats from your body, especially if you're losing fat on keto. That's one of your goals, is to lose fat mass versus fats that you're consuming. Your liver is processing those fats. Now, if you choose to drink some alcohol, your liver is going to say, oh, should I process fats or should I process alcohol right now? Well, alcohol is a toxin. It is. As much as we want to think as a fun, social event it is, it's a toxin, and it can stress our bodies out. So our liver is going to naturally choose to say, oh, let's process the alcohol because that's a toxin. And so you may shift on your ketogenic journey because you're incorporating some of the alcohol. So what people typically do who like to have a little drink now and then is get low carb drinks. Some of the lower carb drinks, and this is interesting, is champagne, dry champagne.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and dry wines as well. Now, I work with a lot of people with gut issues, and some foods are histamine producers, and they really just are high histamine types of foods. Those are some things that they have sulfites in them, they have high histamine regulators. So you may get raging headaches. I know lots of people who they drink champagne, they get raging headaches, with that. And it's probably liberating too much histamine. So switch that to more of let's see, like a vodka and soda. So you can, not like diet soda, not like soda.
Club soda.
Yeah, club soda. Correct that there. I'm not a big drinker. I used to have some wine, but after my kids, I can't tolerate it. My body does not do well with alcohol anymore. And it's a liver thing, and it's a processing, and it can be an MTHFR thing as well. And so
for me, what it wound up being is that I was so unconscious of so many pieces going on that even with the drinking part of it, it's like I'm choosing when I'm going to do it now. And it's about a celebration, or it's about a time of enjoyment, not about just out of habit, feeling like I have to have a drink kind of thing. So is there anything else you want to fill in? Any questions that I missed that you want to cover when it comes to keto?
You know what? Let me see here. One of the things that I do, though, I don't know why. Maybe she's thirsty. I don't know.
It's like the best reality TV show.
I'm like, my slippers. Get her to shut up. It's her birthday today. She's 8. But let's see here. One of the things that we kind of covered, like it's all about fat. It's not about fat. We want to get the vegetables in there. Some people think fat will make me fatter. That's why they don't do keto. And it's like, no, that's not the case. It's you got your macros way out of whack as far as what you're doing. This is an interesting thought that when I tell, how all those college students that are coming back home now, but they'll go away to their freshman year or sophomore year and they gain 15 pounds. And because they're eating a ton of pizzas and beer. And if you just dissect a pizza that is, especially thick crust pizza, you're getting a ton of carbohydrates. And you're getting, say it's a meat lover's pizza, then you're getting a ton of fat in there too. So you're getting carbohydrates along with fat. That is huge in caloric load. So they're going to gain the weight if they're eating a ton of pizza. So I always think that's an interesting thought that, wow, we got to kind of, when we're looking at our food, dissect it into those 3 things. How much protein is in our food, how much fat is in our food, and how much carbohydrates are in our food. So if you can put those goggles on when you're looking at food, no matter where you're at, you can say, okay, how's this breaking down? How's that bagel breaking down for you?
And I work on an intuitive level, so I approach food a little. How is this food going to make me feel?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. How am I going to feel once I eat this? And then make the choice. And I am a pizza fanatic. Like I would eat pizza every single day of my life. I have not had a pizza in over a month.
Oh, wow.
Good for you. I want to be, and we're used to celebrating with food all the time. You have a birthday party and a birthday cake. So many Italians out there use the pastas and the pizzas. And I feel if you are looking for anything, and you tell me if I'm completely wrong, you're the expert here. But I feel like if you are looking at anything to be long term, you have the last time celebration where you can still experience some of those foods, understanding and knowing there may be a consequence afterward, but if you're choosing that consequence, then do it without guilt. Do it without guilt and pick it back up the very next day.
Yeah, I agree with that. My husband and I, this was a few years ago, we did Shape Reclaim together, and we would have our little code system. We'd say, was it worth it? If they got into something, and my husband, this is a really interesting story. So he doesn't have any, hopefully he's going to watch this later like, Emily, what are you doing? But so he doesn't have any major complaints with his diet or anything. But when he removed gluten for a period of a few months and then brought it back in, he smelled smoke. He smelled smoke about 30 minutes later. He's a pilot. You don't want to be smelling smoke in the cockpit, right? So that was his neurological response. And now he realizes when he has the gluten, it causes smoke smell, which is a neurodegeneration, a neuroinflammatory response. And he feels fatigued, and so we kind of know certain things to stay away from now. But like you said, we're humans. We are cyclical people. Everything about us is cyclical. We have women, we have these cycles. The earth revolves. We have different cycles in our bodies. And so we go through periods of, indulging, but getting back on track. And it's okay. You don't have to hold yourself so strict on saying, I'm going to be like this forever. If you are, if you feel horrible about it, then make your healthified version of that food. Or if you want to indulge in that one crazy high sugar thing, and then as long as you get back on track. And that's the thing that people need to know, is that if you find you're getting into that food, but it's slipping in the next day and the next day and the day after that, and then 2 times a day, you're not breaking that cycle, and it's not healthy for you to do that.
Yeah.
That's
my takeaway. And what I would encourage anybody watching this or doing, do something really strict for 1 week. Commit to keto, commit to eliminating all of the processed, the sugars, all that for just 1 week. I feel strongly that in 1 week, most people will notice something, recognize something, and hopefully then start taking a step for more longevity. And oftentimes there are people out there that need more help, and that's where functional medicine doctors such as yourself have the support to help somebody guide them through and identify specifically what their body needs for optimal health.
Exactly. That's well said.
So how can people reach you? How can people connect with you? Just say it here on the video, and then in the comments, go ahead and put your business contacts in there. Also, you have a Facebook group, a Keto Facebook group.
Yeah, I do. This was maybe a few years ago. I started a Facebook group called Keto STL. It's just Keto STL. There's about over 600 people in there, and it just keeps growing and growing. People want this. This is a high demand, with all the published literature, all the popularity. It's real. And so, check out that Facebook group. I'll pop in there every once in a while, but just use it as a resource, a support group for people who are going through this. So that's the Keto STL group. You can reach me. I'm social as well, and I'm on Facebook. You can find and follow my practice, which is Enlightened Functional Medicine. You can follow me there, and that's my practice. I have a practice in Baldwin, and so I specialize in functional medicine. And you can check out our website, which is enlightenedstl.com. You can go to Facebook and reach me that way too. I'm on Instagram too. I'm kind of hit the new starting that. So,
well, and I saw your dance moves the other day that you posted too.
Oh yeah, we're good dancers in our family. We went to a family wedding last weekend, and my son, who's 5, just super impressed me with his dance moves too. So I'm a big Michael Jackson fan. And,
I noticed, and I loved it. Well, Emily, I want to thank you for joining us today. All of these videos that we are doing will be archived on our SymBowl website, SymBowl, SYMBOWL.com. It has resources for anybody who is not watching this live. We've also started our Healthy Hour, which will be one Tuesday a month. And the first one is going to be on June 19th, where we have our guest speaker, Dr. Olivia, who will be speaking on why we need more functional medicine doctors out there. Everybody says St. Louis is saturated with chiropractors, but we have a lot of chiropractors that are popping and cracking, and they're not diving to the source of where things are coming from. So that's a huge difference with the functional medicine doctor. Why we need more functional medicine doctors out there. And the takeaway that evening will be 3 questions to ask any doctor before choosing the right one for yourself. So, Emily, I want to thank you. We're going to have you back on for a couple more topics as well. I saw Seth pop up in the message in the comments as well. And Seth's videos on our website as well. We're talking a little bit more in detail about what functional medicine is. So, thank you again. Join us next Friday. I'm not 100% sure on what our topic is yet or who our guest is. I've got to look at that. But if you are watching this, make comments. What do you want us talking about? Do you have something you want us to reach out to? And we will go from there. So thank you, Emily.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
We'll see you soon.
Bye.